I remember the day Earth begged the stars for mercy. Not for ourselves, but for them. The Galactic Council thought we were bluffing. They thought the little blue world at the edge of their mapped spiral was desperate, cornered, clinging to relevance. They never understood what we were truly warning them about. What we were holding back. My name is Commander Jacob Rains, Terran Defense Fleet, formerly stationed aboard the USS Sentinel, flagship of Earth's orbital perimeter. I've spent half my life staring into the black, first through a rifle scope, then a command screen. I've seen things that would make most men go blind just to forget. But nothing compares to the silence that followed our final transmission to the Council. Stand down your fleets, I told them. You don't know what's coming. We're the only ones who do. They didn't listen. The Council Hall of Astra Prime had always looked like a temple more than a government seat, carved obsidian spires, shimmering quantum glass, the faint hum of 1,000 alien voices debating peace, war, and the meaning of progress. When Earth's delegation was summoned there for what would be our final appeal, the air itself felt electric. Ambassador Lena Hart, my old friend from the Sol Concord days, led the delegation. I stood behind her, half a galaxy away, watching the broadcast feed through encrypted uplink. I could see the fatigue in her eyes, the restrained tremor in her voice as she addressed them. This isn't a threat, she said, her voice echoing through the council chamber. It's a plea. The anomaly is expanding. You've seen the data. We've measured the gravitational distortions, the time phase irregularities. It doesn't consume, it infects. A dozen species murmured, flickering holograms of scaled faces, translucent tendrils, and crystalline forms shifting in the air. Their representatives leaned forward as if smelling blood. You Terrans have a tendency to dramatize, sneered Counselor Varath of the Veil Dominion, his segmented eyes glittering. We've encountered stellar anomalies before. Contain your panic. It does not spread beyond your quadrant. Lena exhaled, shoulders slumping. You still don't get it. It's not an anomaly. It's a signal. Something calling back from before light itself. That line, that one sentence, was the first moment I knew she'd lost them. The word signal was enough to turn science into superstition in their eyes. The Council voted 3 hours later. Earth's warning was dismissed. Our access to the quantum relay network was suspended pending psychological evaluation. They thought we'd gone mad. Back on the Sentinel, the silence felt heavier than any battle I'd fought. The crew moved like ghosts, their footsteps echoing through metal corridors lined with flickering status lights. The engines purred under half power, and the stars outside pulsed with the quiet heartbeat of an uncaring universe. Lieutenant Marissa Cade, my second in command, approached me in the observation deck. They're not going to help us, are they? I shook my head. They've already written us off. To them, Earth's just a containment zone now. Her jaw tightened. Then what do we do? I turned to face the blue glow of Earth, a fragile pearl hanging in the dark. We hold the line. I didn't tell her the truth, that our scientists had confirmed the expansion rate. The so-called void front would reach the outer colonies within weeks. It moved like a tide that ate space itself, devouring not matter, but laws. Gravity, light, entropy, everything just unraveled in its path. We'd already lost Mars Station Alpha. One moment it was there, broadcasting weather telemetry, the next, gone. Not destroyed, just erased, as if the universe had blinked and decided it was never there. The following night, the void front made contact with the Kepler barrier, our last defense grid. I was in the command chair when the alert hit. Graviton field destabilization at Sector 9G, a tech shouted. Barrier integrity dropping. On the tactical screen, the wave looked almost beautiful, a shimmering black veil sliding through the void, stars dimming as it approached. Then came the distortion. The space around it bent. The light from distant suns warped like heat haze on asphalt. And underneath it all, faint and rhythmic, a pulse. Thump, thump, thump. It wasn't random noise. It was a message. Marissa turned pale. Commander, it's repeating prime sequences. It's talking. We'd heard it before. The scientists called it the echo. We called it something else, the whisper. It was the sound of something alive inside the anomaly. Record everything, I said quietly. And seal the archive under black level encryption. Because I knew what came next. The last time the whisper had spoken, entire systems vanished. 2 days later, a dozen council ships entered our system, uninvited reconnaissance vessels, monitoring us for containment protocol. They still thought this was an infection. They thought they could study it. They never got the chance. The void front reached them before they could even align their scanners. From the bridge, I watched their formation break apart, ships folding inward, hulls twisting into abstract geometry, matter turning into something that couldn't exist in our universe. Their distress calls came through garbled, voices screaming as time itself fractured. And just like that, the Galactic Council finally believed us. But it was too late. We sent one final message across every quantum channel. To all civilizations receiving this, Earth is not your enemy. We begged you to listen. You dismissed our warnings. What comes now will not stop at our borders. We are holding the line as long as we can. But understand this, we were never the threat. We were the dam. And it's breaking. That transmission was the last time humanity spoke to the galaxy as one. When the void front breached Jupiter's orbit, our skies began to ripple, a faint aurora spreading even in daylight. Radio waves collapsed. Satellites fell silent. The oceans started to hum. And in the midst of it all, as the stars flickered out one by one, I remembered Lena's final words to me before the council cut her feed. If they won't listen, Jake, then God help them all. The first time I saw a world die, it didn't explode. It folded. The planet Erebos 4, one of the Council's mid-tier colonies, 3 billion inhabitants, oceanic world with silver clouds, simply inverted. A ripple shimmered through its atmosphere, and then, in the blink of an eye, it was gone. No debris. No light. Just a hollow echo that made space itself feel wrong. They called it a gravitational inversion event. I called it what it was, the universe closing its eyes. The Council finally acknowledged us after that. They opened every comm channel to Earth, demanding our research, our containment data, our fleet assets. They wanted our scientists, our algorithms, our failsafes. The same voices that had laughed at Lena Hart's warnings were now begging for blueprints of the Project Horizon defense network. But Horizon wasn't a weapon. It was a wall. A wall we built out of desperation. And it wasn't finished. When I took command of the Sentinel, I knew we were fighting time more than any enemy. But now time itself had become the enemy. Transmission incoming, Marissa said, her voice low. Council Priority Alpha. I nodded. Put it through. The main holoscreen flickered, and the familiar sharp features of Admiral Kaldron of the Vala Dominion appeared. He was reptilian, all scales and precision, his species' arrogance dulled now by fear. Commander Rains, he hissed, our fleets have collapsed in Sector 12. We request, no, demand, that Earth activate Horizon's core. We cannot withstand another breach. I leaned forward, glaring at the feed. You think I won't notice the word demand in there, Admiral? We told you to cooperate months ago. You ignored us. Now you want access? We are facing extinction. Your planet alone is shielded by that abomination you built. You owe the Council the technology. I cut him off. We don't owe you anything. You dismissed our warnings, blocked our funding, called us primitives. Now you want to hide behind our shield? No. You'll stand your ground like the rest of us. For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, quietly. You'll damn us all, human. The transmission died. Marissa turned toward me. He's right about one thing, she said. They are damned. All of them. Project Horizon had begun 5 years ago, long before the Council even believed the Void Front existed. It was Lena's brainchild, a planetary shield designed not to block energy or missiles, but entropy. The system anchored Earth within a localized stability field, a bubble of uncorrupted physics. We used collapsing quantum cores to generate it. It worked, for now. But it was never meant to protect the galaxy, only to buy Earth time. The real plan was buried under the shield itself. A contingency called Prometheus Protocol. I still remember the night Lena told me about it, back before the council hearings, back when we still thought we had allies. We'd been drinking freeze-dried bourbon in a lab bunker under New Geneva, the lights flickering from constant power rerouting. She leaned against the table, hair tied back, eyes blazing with conviction. We're not building this to survive, Jake. We're building it to reset. I frowned. Reset what? Everything. If the void front keeps spreading, the laws of reality will break down completely. Space will collapse in on itself. The only way to stop it is to reboot the system, trigger a new Big Bang inside a sealed boundary. Jesus, Lena, you're talking about annihilating everything. No, she said softly. Restarting it. We'd become the seed of whatever comes next. She called it Prometheus. And the council called her insane. Now, 2 years later, her plan was the only one that made sense. And she was gone, presumed dead after the council cut ties with Earth. I looked out at the dark. The stars flickered like dying embers. Marissa, I said, get me Dr. KGRI in Horizon Control. A few minutes later, his tired face filled the screen. Commander, he rasped. We've managed to stabilize the outer field for now, but power drains at 73%. If the void front hits full compression before we realign the generators, we'll lose the shield. How long? Maybe 30 hours. Maybe less. And the anomaly speed? He hesitated. Accelerating. It's consuming space faster the more mass it devours. Commander, it's feeding. We lost the Helios relay at 0400. The last data burst showed a wave of energy tearing through the relay's hub, bending light into spirals. That's when the impossible happened. The whisper changed. It stopped repeating primes. It began repeating names. Our names. Every ship in the Sol Defense Network heard it, crew members whispering as their comms filled with voices that sounded like them, distorted echoes of their own speech patterns. Entire crews went silent mid-sentence, staring into nothing. Marissa gripped my arm. Sir, the whisper's sinking to us. It's mimicking thought patterns. I felt my throat tighten. Shut down all non-essential systems. Cut the neural uplinks. But it was too late. The whisper wasn't coming through the comms anymore. It was resonating inside us. Hours later, the council fleets arrived, what was left of them. Thousands of ships surrounding Earth, their formations shaky, desperate. They'd come seeking refuge under Horizon's shield. Marissa looked at the sensors. We've got 76 council vessels requesting docking clearance. Deny it. Her eyes widened. Sir? If we lower the shield even a fraction, the field collapses. We can't risk it. You let one in, you let them all in. A long silence. Then she whispered, they'll die out there. I nodded slowly. So will we, if we open the door. Outside, the stars shimmered and one by one, began to blink out again. The council ships drifted closer, hailing us endlessly, their signals breaking into static as the void front approached. Sir, look. I turned toward the viewport just in time to see the first of them vanish. The ships didn't explode, they disassembled, their atoms scattering like dust in a storm. In less than a minute, the entire outer formation was gone. And through the static, the whisper spoke again. Clear. Calm. Almost human. You warned them, but they would not listen. Marissa's eyes met mine. Did you? I heard it, I said. My voice felt foreign, like someone else was speaking through me. Now they are gone. But you, Jacob Rains, you remain. The deck lights dimmed. Alarms blared. Dr. Arai's voice cut through the chaos. Commander! The void front has reached the horizon boundary. Containment's holding, for now, but the energy feedback is off the charts. It's testing us. The whisper thundered in my skull, not a voice but a presence. Ancient. Cold. Curious. You built a wall against the dark, it said. But walls cannot stop the sea. And then, for the first time, I felt fear not for humanity, not for myself, but for the universe. Because in that moment, I understood the truth. The void front wasn't destruction. It was correction. The universe had grown old, decayed by eons of entropy and interference. The void front wasn't an invader. It was nature's reset button. And we were standing in the way. As the horizon field shuddered under the onslaught, I gave the order. Activate Prometheus Protocol. Marissa's breath caught. Jake, that'll erase everything inside the field too. I know. The deck trembled. The sky above Earth rippled, stars vanishing behind an expanding curtain of black. We hold the line, I said softly. Until the last atom burns. When the order left my lips, silence fell across the Sentinel. No one spoke. No one breathed. Even the alarms seemed to hesitate. Every soul aboard knew what Prometheus Protocol meant, an end not just to the war, but to everything we'd ever been. We were about to light a new universe, and die doing it. The bridge was bathed in red. Dust drifted down from ceiling panels, shaken loose by the shockwaves pounding against the horizon field. Outside, space itself writhed like a living thing, the black curtain pressing harder, folding reality into ripples of molten geometry. Power routing to the core array, Marissa reported. Her voice trembled, but her hands were steady. Dr. Arai says the quantum charge is unstable. He doesn't think it'll hold long enough for detonation sequence. It'll hold, I said. It had to. The main screen showed Earth beneath us, oceans shimmering with auroras, cities flickering like embers beneath the shield's pale light. Every satellite in orbit had fallen dark, every network gone to static. Humanity's entire existence had boiled down to this: one ship, one button, one breath. Down in Horizon Control, Dr. Arai and his team were working at the edge of madness. I could hear their voices over calm, strained, hoarse, exhausted. They were stabilizing the Prometheus lattice, trying to sync the containment fields that would focus the detonation inward, birthing a controlled singularity, a seed for a new cosmos. Commander, Arai gasped over calm. Once we trigger the cascade, there's no reversing it. The moment the quantum boundary breaks, it'll consume everything inside. Us included. I nodded. We knew the price when we built it. I just wanted to hear someone say it, he whispered. The whisper hadn't stopped. It filled the static, the silence, even the spaces between my thoughts. You misunderstand us, Jacob Rains, it murmured, no longer distant, but intimate, like a voice just behind my ear. We do not come to destroy. We come to renew. Why resist the inevitable? You could rest within us, become part of what comes next. I've seen what you leave behind, I said aloud. There's nothing left. No memory. No soul. Memory is noise. We bring silence. From silence, new order. Order without choice isn't creation. It's extinction. And yet you will choose extinction to deny us? The voice pulsed through my skull like thunder. My nose bled, my vision blurred. But I held my ground. If it means the next universe starts clean, then yes. Marissa looked at me. It's inside your head again, isn't it? Yeah. You sure you can fight it? I gave a faint smile. Not sure. But it's talking to the wrong soldier if it thinks I'll surrender. We reached the final countdown. The ship's systems groaned under strain, reactor heat warping the deck plates. Dr. Arai's voice came over calm. All reactors synchronized. Quantum core at 96%. Prometheus protocol armed and awaiting manual trigger. Manual. Not automated. Because we didn't trust machines to make this decision. Marissa, I said quietly, get to the escape shuttle. Her eyes widened. No way in hell. That's an order. She shook her head. You're not doing this alone, Jake. Someone has to make sure the system doesn't fail mid-cycle. If we lose power halfway, the singularity collapses, turns the planet inside out instead of birthing anything. I hesitated. You realize if you stay. Yeah, she said, smiling sadly. I know. We stood there, staring through the viewport as the horizon shimmered. For a heartbeat, Earth looked almost peaceful. Then came the breach. The horizon shield began to fracture, thin veins of black creeping across the glowing dome. The void front had finally reached critical contact, pressing its full weight against the barrier. Commander! Arai shouted. We're losing containment. The shield can't withstand the gravitational inversion much longer. I slammed my palm on the intercom. Start the sequence. Now. Inside the planet's crust, miles below the old Geneva complex, the Prometheus reactors came alive. Massive rings of superconducting plasma spun faster and faster, drawing power from every remaining grid on Earth. Electric storms erupted across the atmosphere. The oceans boiled with blue lightning. From orbit, it looked like Earth was becoming a star. The whisper's tone changed, less voice, more emotion, raw and desperate. Stop this. You will end yourselves for nothing. You will burn your seed of life. Then we burn bright, I said. Marissa reached out, fingers brushing the console beside mine. Jake, if there's anything after this, then I'll see you there. She nodded once. Hell of a way to go. A blinding flash erupted beneath us. The shield cracked like glass. The void front poured in a wave of black light swallowing clouds, continents, oceans. But as it met the core's ignition field, something extraordinary happened. Instead of collapsing, the darkness recoiled. The Prometheus lattice caught the wave, folded it inward, twisted it through the heart of the quantum core, and for the first time since the universe began, entropy reversed. Space breathed. The stars blinked back to life, not the same stars, but echoes of new ones being born beyond the event horizon. The ship shook violently. Marissa grabbed my arm. Feel destabilizing. Hold it steady. Arai's voice screamed through static. Core's overloading. If it collapses now, we'll. The transmission cut out. The deck split open. Gravity tore sideways. Lights exploded. The viewport shattered into a kaleidoscope of impossible colors. And through it all, the whisper's last words thundered in my mind. You cannot kill the dark. You are the dark. Then everything went white. I awoke to silence. No alarms. No voices. Just the faint hum of wind. I was lying on soil. Real soil warm beneath my palms. The sky above was gold, the horizon endless. I turned, and there she was, Marissa, standing beside a river that shimmered like liquid glass. She smiled, sunlight in her hair. Guess it worked, she said softly. I looked around. There were trees, strange, luminous, breathing. Birds that weren't quite birds. A sky too vast to be Earth's, but familiar enough to ache. Where are we? I asked. She shrugged. Don't know. But I think we made it. I stared at my reflection in the water. The face staring back wasn't exactly mine, just close enough to feel like it. Prometheus protocol didn't destroy us, I whispered. It recreated us. Maybe that's what the universe wanted all along, she said. We stood there in silence, the world newborn around us. Somewhere far above, twin suns rose on the horizon, scattering the shadows. For the first time in eternity, there was no whisper, only peace. Later, as we walked along the river, Marissa asked, "Do you think the others made it?" I thought of Arai, of Lena, of the billions who'd vanished into the light. I don't know, I said. But if this is what comes after, maybe that's enough. She smiled. Then let's build it right this time. And so, under two suns in a sky that had never seen war, humanity began again. We warned the galaxy once, and they didn't listen. Now there was no galaxy left, just a single, quiet world and the faint memory of a man who held the line. My name is Jacob Rains, last commander of Earth. And this time, we're not holding back.